One thing that will always amaze me from the Get Back documentary is how casual the whole thing was. If anyone were to watch the documentary without any context on who the Beatles were and the impact they had in the world, they would never guess this was the greatest band of all time. A few days ago, I made a video about Paul McCartney coming up with a basic melody and chords for Get Back in only a few minutes. But one thing that I failed to mention is that that's how the Beatles made music. There was no complex method for anything. All of it was pure talent. There's exceptions, of course. The making of A Day in the Life or While My Guitar Gently Weeps were notably complex, but the vast majority of the band's discography was written in the simplest of ways. One member comes in with a melody or a loose idea of what they want to do, he tells the band about it, and they start playing.
What could it be, Paul? Something in the way she moves. Something in the way she moves.
I want you to think about what you just saw. That was George Harrison telling John Lennon how to play something. Look at how natural everything is. Usually when a band comes up with an idea that could potentially result in a major hit or a masterpiece, all the attention goes to that song. They dedicate that session to polish that idea and make it better, and even then, it usually takes multiple sessions. And then you have the Beatles having one of the most romantic songs in the history of music pretty much ready, but they're acting like it's just another Tuesday. And there's so many more examples of the boys jamming to a song until they feel happy with the sound and move on to recording it, which again sounds like a reasonable way of doing things, until you understand that with such a simple formula they created some of the most influential songs and albums in the history of music. Because a lot of people seem to believe this formula only applies to Let It Be, but that's not the case at all. Every single album by the band was made this way. Obviously they didn't have cameras around and they didn't have to focus on a live performance, but aside from that everything was pretty much as you see it in the documentary. Their work ethic was insane. It almost didn't make sense for the type of music they were making, but hey, I guess no one can say it didn't work.